Welcome to episode number 24 of Sports the NEMO Way, where we will be discussing Rick Barry, who made Doug, Drew, and Maya's list, but being left off of Wade and Ray's. The three of us have him ranked 23rd, 24th, and 30th. So let's go over his career before any cases are made. The 6'7", 205-pound small forward who played his NBA career for the Warriors and Rockets. He is a one-time champ, zero-time MVP, a 12-time All-Star, six-time All-NBA, and Rookie of the Year, and a scoring champ with career averages of 24, 6, and 5 on 45% shooting. So, Drew, take it away, buddy.
Well, with Rick Barry, he's one of those things we talked about in other episodes. He was definitely a best player on a championship team, so he's got that going for him, I would say.
Indeed.
About him not having any MVPs, well, everyone hated him. No one liked Rick Barry. He was an absolute
asshole.
Yeah, thank you.
I want you to tarnish your legacy there with the curse word, Drew.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, everyone hated him. He probably could have had from 1, maybe 3, I don't know. But everyone hated him. That's back then when the players voted for MVP, so they didn't like him, so he's not going to get any votes. So that's why he doesn't have any of those. And he's the Golden State Warriors championship before Steph Curry and all that. So all you viewers wondering how they got there, well, he's the reason why they have one before Steph and all them did it. So that's my opening statement on old Rick.
Well, Uncle Doug, you got anything for us?
Yeah. Rick Barry was an amazing player. I mean, he did whatever he needed to do to win. Not the best rebounder ever, but he at least made the 129 on the all-time list. He's 24 on the scoring list, 15 if you look at his average, 70 on the assist list, like 12-time All-Star, all NBAs, all ABAs. Out of his 14 years, he made it like 10 times. The main knock on Barry was he just did not get along well with others.
Like, even his own teammates didn't like him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Very outspoken.
We're going to get into a specific story that entails that before this episode's over, I'm sure.
Ooh.
Rick Barry. He came into the league and won Rookie of the Year. Then in his second season, averaged 35 points a game. Then he went to the ABA, where he made 2 finals appearances, winning 1. Came back to the NBA, and in his third season back, had an all-time great season, where he averaged 35 and 6, not 35, sorry. Led the NBA in steals and free throw percentage, won the NBA Finals and the Finals MVP, then played 5 more years in the NBA before retiring. So, that's my opening statement. I don't know, Wade, Ray, which one of you want to go first? I apologize, but I'll kick it over to you guys.
Go ahead, Ray.
I guess I'm just not as familiar with you guys or as you guys are with Rick Barry, but I guess that's why I left him off my list. I mean, I know. I know who Rick Barry is, and yeah, he's a pretty good player, but I guess I just haven't seen him play as much or seen as much, highlights as everybody else. But then I sit down here and I look at the stat line and I'm like, well, I guess I should have done a little more research. But, yeah. That's why he's not on my list.
Willard?
Yeah, well, it's already been documented that I forgot to write Rick Barry down. So he was supposed to be on my list. So this would be a tricky episode here.
Well, we're 4 minutes in, guys.
So
Who's got the trivia question?
I guess I got mine ready. Well, I guess I can attempt to do something here if we really want to make this an episode.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I guess we can start off with I don't remember if it was Uncle Doug or Alex brought up how disliked he was. If there was probably an NBA award for biggest douche, it'd go to Rick Barry. He was hated by everybody. Another thing, I found this really entertaining, that Alex doesn't like guys that have personality problems, and he hates the 60s and 70s. And Rick Barry is a douche and played in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, good point.
And he made Alex's
I
list.
thought that was kind of an entertaining.
Can I defend myself?
Oh yeah, go for it. I don't care.
All of my arguments against personal stuff were at the detriment of basketball. Like, I won't show up, or I'm addicted to cocaine and
Right.
can't play, or I had to check myself into to rehab and miss a year of my season or career. I mean, I'm trying to think of more instances off the top of my head.
I think you just kind of hated James Harden.
Well, I mean, James
I
Harden.
feel like there's a better example than that. I feel like there's another one where you just.
I mean, I came at Sean
hated.
Kemp pretty hard about
Yeah.
his stuff.
Did you come up at Chris Webber a little bit for not?
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
become at Chris Webber.
But again, in Alex's defense, that was doing dumb stuff to the detriment of the game.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
I get that. But I have a question. You don't think being hated by the entire NBA, including your own team, didn't mess with team chemistry?
I mean,
I'll give you that. It might have done so.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did. But I think winning cures things. All the other guys we just talked about can't win. Or didn't win, I should say. Almost all of them are retired, except for, I guess, Harden. I mean, Weber never won anything. Kemp never won anything. And Kemp's problem seemed to have come later. At the beginning of his career, when he was having success, he seemed to have his shit together at least a little bit. I feel like there's a player we're forgetting, Chris
Yeah.
Mullin. I went after Chris Mullin.
Yeah.
You went at Dantley pretty hard.
Yeah, but again,
Yeah.
it was because, hey, I know we're winning, but y'all need to give me the fucking ball more. I want to leave.
Right. Yeah.
Like that again. It's the detriment of winning, and then the team wins because they get rid of him because he's not being an asshole anymore. Like, Rick won.
What do you think? Do you think Rick Barry wins more championships if he's not the way he is? He played with some pretty good players.
Okay, so let me ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
what's the difference between Rick Barry and Michael Jordan? I mean, attitude-wise, not basketball-wise.
Titles?
I said not basketball-wise. I mean,
Oh, okay.
attitude-wise. Because really, I mean, from what I read anyway, I obviously did not watch Rick Barry play or was alive during that time. But it was all like, when your teammates mess up, he screamed and yelled at them and called them names. If they made mistakes, he blamed the loss on them. Like, all sorts of shit like that. I mean, actually, he was on Jimmy Kimmel a few years ago. And, Bill Simmons is like best friends with Jimmy Kimmel. And he's there as well. And Bill Simmons asked him about losing, like, I can't remember what game it was, like a Western Conference Finals game. And Rick Barry gets visibly pissed off and blames the loss on his center. I can't remember his name, his starting center, and is like, I ran the pick and roll with said center. I threw a perfect bounce pass that bounced off his hands out of bounds, and we lost the fucking game, and it's all his fucking fault. And you're like, whoa. But then you go back and watch the highlight. He throws a perfect bounce pass that bounces off his center's hand out of bounds, and they lose the game. And he, not that he should have, berated his teammate on national TV, but like, that's the type of stuff we get on Kobe and Mike for.
Well, yeah, freaking Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr in the face at practice. At practice.
That's the thing, though. Michael and Kobe probably did this stuff more in practice. Rick might have done it a little more publicly. That's probably why he was so disliked. I mean,
Yeah. Did Rick ever apologize? Later,
No.
Did he apologize?
Michael at least apologized later to Steve and said, I'm sorry.
And
Rick
it worked.
said,
It made him and Steve closer.
yeah.
I mean, Rick has also done some stuff that you can't defend. Like, I don't want to get too in-depth in this because I'm a little out of my depth. But there is a YouTube clip that I actually read about in Bill Simmons' book and then looked it up on YouTube where Rick Barry makes a racist comment on national TV to Bill Russell.
Yeah.
So, Rick Barry's done some real shitty things that I'm not going to even attempt or want to attempt to defend. But I think he was a really great basketball player. Anyway, I went off on a tangent there, Wade. I was just trying to answer your question.
Oh no, I just thought it was entertaining that he was on your list. Okay, here's something we can kind of debate because he did play back in the 60s, 70s, and what did he get to retire in 80?
I believe so, 80 or 81. Yeah.
How do you?
Real quick. Yeah, in 80.
Yeah. So okay. So mainly 60s and 70s.
Mhm.
So how, in your all's opinion, how do you think he translates to the 80s, 90s, and 2000s?
I think Rick Barry translates wonderfully. He's a ball handler. He's a great passer. He's a scorer, and the main part of his scoring is jump shooting. So I think if you institute a 3-point line, it probably adds to his career numbers, adds to his game. I think he translates well to that. He was also a good finisher at the rim, unlike some guys we talked about, old fogies that two-handed push shot in the lane. He came much later than all that stuff. He shot a regular jump. If you look up his highlights, he looks like a guy shooting today.
I mean, that's true, yeah.
And he was able to finish at the rim in a multitude of ways. You see him doing like wraparound passes, stuff we see in today's NBA. I think personally, Rick Barry translates wonderfully, maybe better than he is what he was then.
I think he'd be a great small forward shooting guard through whatever time period you want to look at. I mean, he could flat out play.
Let's say he dominated his era. I mean, his numbers were up there. Isn't he the leader in most points per game in playoffs?
Finals.
Finals points per
my
game.
bad.
He is the all-time leader.
Mhm.
3 points ahead of Michael, who's 2. Michael's at 33 and Rick Barry's at 36. I mean, his points per game over his career, like his rookie season, he came in and averaged 25.
Yeah.
Then he went to 35, then 34, 27, 29, 31, 22, 25, 30, 21, 21, 23.
Yeah,
Like-
four times over 30 in his career
Yeah.
for a season.
And until Harden did his thing, the last couple of years, Rick Barry was the only player
Besides Will.
since Wilt to average, what was it,
35?
35 or something like
Because
that.
Harden got up to 36 a couple
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he's athletic enough to be able to play defense or get to the lane in later eras?
I don't know that. I don't think we would look at him and be like, man, he's a specimen. I don't think anything like
Yeah.
stupid like that. I do think he's athletic enough. He's quick. He led the league in steals multiple times, and they only had steals for the second half of his career. So I think he was able to do that. And I think he played well after the merger, where all the ABA guys came over, and he played in the ABA, where it was the more athletic game. He played against Dr. J and George Gervin and guys we consider athletes, and held his own. Like I said, he made 2 finals appearances in the ABA against those guys.
Yep.
So
Did he win a championship in the ABA?
yes,
69.
but he didn't play in it.
Oh, okay.
He got hurt. He blew out his knee. Actually, he tore his ACL. Or he blew out his knee and didn't play in that finals, but they did win. Yes,
Yeah.
that was in the ABA though.
What year did he win in Golden State? I'm trying to look.
75.
75.
Yeah,
I looked at that team. They were pretty good. Him and they had Jamal. Was it Jamal Wilkes? Is that his
Silk.
name?
That was Jamal
Yeah.
Wilkes' rookie season.
Yeah, I think he still
Ever
averaged
watch
like.
Silk shoot?
I don't think so.
Look it up sometime.
Mm. That good,
It's the most unusual shot called Silk, but it was smooth and it went in.
Really? Because they had him, and there was a couple other guys that I don't remember their names. They were a couple multi-time All-Stars, but
Yeah, I kind of broke that down a little bit too, because you brought up in I can't remember one of the early episodes that Rick Barry played on a really great team, and I wanted to debunk that on air a little bit. The surrounding cast was garbage. Jamal Wilkes was the second best player by far, and it was his rookie season. He averaged 14 points, and then the guys that were like had all-star games under their belt or whatever were like the last year in the league or second to last year in the league, and were washed up. Averaged like 3 points a game, 5 points a game. They weren't real contributors. I still can't remember the goddamn center's name, but he averaged like 6 points a game and 9 rebounds.
Yeah, Google who was on that team, because I can't remember who was on the 75 team besides
Because
Rick and Silk.
I'm pretty sure there's a Hall of Famer on that team.
Jamal Wilkes.
Well, I know Jamal. I was trying to exclude Jamal. There's a little white guy that's on that team, but again, it was like his last year in the league. I should have goddamn printed it off. I apologize.
I just looked up his teammates, and they came up with one other Hall of Famer, and Jamal Wilkes, and then
Maybe it was.
2 other multi-time All-Star guys.
Yeah, I can't get a roster. That's my bad.
What position did Wilkes play?
Shooting, he'd been like small forward shooting guard.
Just a wing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the
Good.
center, it was either George Johnson or Clifford Ray.
Clifford Ray. That's
Clifford Ray.
Yep.
Ray. Was he the guy that averaged a bunch of blocks per game? There was some guy that had like a freakish blocks number that I happened to come across. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong
You have the
person.
whole roster there, Drew.
Yeah.
Who else you got?
So let me get back to it. I was going to look at Clifford
I didn't
Ray
recognize anyone
blocks.
except Jamal Wilkes and Rick Barry. But
You had Rick Barry, Butch Beard,
Okay, I remember him a little.
No.
Steve Bracey, Bill Bridges, Derek Dickey, Charles Dudley, Charles Johnson, George Johnson, Frank Kendrick, Jeff Mullins, Clifford Ray, Phil Smith, and Jamal Wilkes. That's
now
your
I know why I
1974 75 Golden State
why I only
Warriors.
remember Barry and Wilkes.
And it was not Ray that averaged a bunch of blocks. I'm looking at him right now.
one of them, I don't remember. They didn't score. They didn't rebound that much, but they had like a weird amount of blocks. It was real weird. I looked
I'm
it
looking
up.
up George Johnson.
So this
right
guy
now.
literally just blocked shots. I don't remember.
Now that you mention that, I kind of wonder.
Well, George Johnson has 3 block championships. I'm trying to find.
Might be him
Oh,
then.
there you go.
Yeah. I was like, dear God. Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to think because Wilkes and Barry kind of played the same position. They were both small forwards.
I mean, for
Yeah.
his career, he averaged 2.5 blocks.
So I wonder who was
Yeah.
the power forward. I mean, one of them must have moved to shooting guard.
I mean, I don't know what positions they were technically playing, but Rick Barry essentially played point guard.
yeah.
I mean, Rick was handling the ball most of the time. But
So he averaged like 3 blocks for 5 straight seasons. So you don't.
That's what I'm saying. That dude was blocking everything.
Yeah.
He was a machine.
Okay, so we'll go. He had 2.7, then he had 3.4, 3.2, 3.2, 3.4, 3.1, and then 1.6.
See what I'm saying? That dude
You
just
know-
blocked everything.
But the years he went 3.2, who beat him?
I don't know.
Probably Wilt.
Well, I don't, depends.
what year was that?
Yeah.
Oh shoot,
Might have been, I don't know, Jabbar maybe. I don't know.
it would have been.
So this is what, late 70s, mid 70s.
It would have been the 79, 80.
Well,
Mm.
definitely wouldn't have been Wilt then.
No.
It was 70. It was the 78, 79 season and 79, 80 season.
Oh.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
What
don't know.
about you always talk about that Artist Gilmore?
Artist?
Was,
Yeah.
was he a big shot blocker?
Yeah. He was some because he played
Mm.
played in the ABA for San Antonio, I believe, and then I think he went and played for the Bulls for quite a few years. But I don't remember how long he lasted after he
Gotcha.
came to the NBA.
Anyway, we got a little. I just thought that one guy was crazy at block shots,
Yeah.
but I guess I didn't know that the other good players were at the end of their career.
Kareem was in 78, 79.
Oh,
What's correct?
oh, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Do I get a
And
trivia
then-
point?
No.
No.
And then the other guy, it was Kareem again.
Okay.
Ah,
so
see.
Jabbar got him.
2 trivia
But-
points for
but
Wade.
Truly, sometime YouTube
Jamal Wilkes.
and watch
I'll do
his
it.
jump shot.
Well, I was trying to figure out if he ever played with the Hall of Fame or anything, and then
Oh,
Jamal
yeah, he
Wilkes
played
popped
for
up.
the Lakers.
I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
were talking about Barry.
With
Okay,
Barry,
sorry.
but yeah.
Wilkes went on after the Golden State.
Was
and
he
played
the
with
one
the
that
Lakers.
wrapped the ball around his head?
Yes.
Yeah,
He's
okay,
the
I
one that
thought
wrapped
so.
the ball around his head.
But he was a good shooter?
Oh yeah. He was
Oh.
not, and like I said, they called him Silk because he was so smooth.
Interesting.
Yeah, you
I'm-
gotta look it up. You'll enjoy it.
I'm intrigued now. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking here and it says scoring champ, 1 NBA title, all rookie, finals MVP, see 4 all NBA, 6 all NBA, rookie of the year, and he's got phenomenal stats. Why does he only have 1 title?
Played on a terrible team.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, like that Golden State team we were talking about, he and Jamal Wilkes.
Well, that was it when the Celtics were. They're existing that, or is this?
In the 70s, there was different teams winning all the time.
Yeah.
The Knicks won 2, the Celtics won 2, the Lakers or the Bucks won 1, the Lakers won 1, the Sonics won 1, the Blazers won 1,
Right.
and the
The
Warriors
Warriors.
won 1.
It was all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who won the title the year after?
Celtics.
Celtics.
76? Okay.
Yeah, with Havlicek and Collins. And those
Ah,
guys.
Okay.
okay. Just kind of
Yeah,
wondering.
the Warriors, damn it, lost to the Suns in the Western Conference Finals.
Who run the Suns back then? I'm trying to
Well,
think.
wasn't that 76? That was a trivia question. When was the 76 Suns did something that year?
Isn't that when Alvin Adams was there, Uncle Doug?
Oh, probably yes. It would have been.
Was that the
Alvin
steals
Adams.
record?
Yeah, I think they had the most steals for a whole
In
season.
the season? Yeah.
76 Suns.
thinking they had a pretty good point guard then too. It might have been when
I was trying to think he was good back then for the
Paul
Suns.
Westphal playing
Oh,
for
yeah.
them then.
Mm.
Yep.
Well,
Maybe.
probably. All right, so since we're talking about the Sun series, I'll go ahead and bring it up, even though it's kind of a detriment to my argument. And that year in the Western Conference Finals, I don't remember the guy's name, but some guy for the Suns and Rick Barry got into a fight. Not like today's NBA fights. They got into a fight, okay? And neither one got kicked out of the game, by the way. They got into a fight. You watch the video. The entire Suns team runs over, okay? Not a single Warriors player goes over there.
Absolutely.
Oh,
They
damn.
have him pushed up against the scoring table, and all the Warriors are standing out in the middle of the floor talking and carrying on like nothing's happening.
No one liked him. Everybody hated him.
But you want to know what happened after that?
But he fought them.
No. He refused to play.
Oh. Yeah, that's a detriment to the team.
And then his coach finally talked him into going back into the game, and he refused to shoot.
He pulled a Kobe. Oh, I guess he did it before Kobe.
That's right. That's where Kobe got it.
Yeah.
And they obviously lost.
That was in the playoffs?
That was in the Western Conference Finals.
Wow.
In Game 7, I believe.
Oh, well, the only way that could be worse if it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
So, yes. His teammates disliked him so much that he was getting beat up, and nobody helped him.
And then he
That's
refused
what
to
you
play
get.
and
Well,
they
I
lost.
mean, For
That's
both
a good
ways,
story.
it's bad for us in our argument, but it's also good. They didn't win. They couldn't win without it.
I mean, most teams lose when their best player refuses to shoot.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he was definitely their best player.
when Kobe refused to shoot, they lost by like 40 points.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. I like that story.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Where do you all have him ranked on your all small forwards list?
I have him at.
I have him at number 7.
I have him at 7 as well.
I don't know.
I'm just okay.
Does
Who
anybody have my small forward list?
who do you
Yeah.
who do you have below him, Uncle Doug? Besides Dantley, I know you got Dantley.
Dantley, Dominic, and Scottie Pippen. are the
Pippen.
three below him.
Ooh, Pippen below him. Interesting.
I have Pippen below him. I know that.
So yeah.
I have Pippen below him. I'm pretty sure I have Pierce below
I know
him.
Ray doesn't have Pippen below.
You have him at 5, Alex.
I have him at 5.
Okay.
All right, the people I have below him is Scotty, Dominique, and Paul.
So who do you have? Yeah, I guess you don't know.
I know I have Scotty, Dominique, and damn.
Julius Irving.
Yeah, you have Julius. You have Dr.
Yeah,
J.
Dr. J
Dr.
below him.
J, yeah.
You have Elgin Baylor behind him.
Elgin Baylor.
Yeah, Scotty's your last.
Yeah, Scotty's 10.
We'll
why-
discuss my Scotty.
Yeah. You got
Yeah.
Scotty way up
You got
there.
Scotty top 10 all time, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! I mean, I think I have the next highest Scotty besides you, but I don't have him that high. Ooh. So why
They like Scotty.
do you guys rank him above? You think he's better than all those other great players?
I mean, a lot of those guys you just talked about don't have championships.
Yeah.
And
So
he-
many accomplishments.
And
he
he-
got it done as the best player on a team that didn't have much else. I mean, as much as I like some of those other guys, I think Elgin Baylor is phenomenal. But Elgin Baylor played with multiple Hall of Famers and couldn't get a championship.
And no titles. Yeah.
Well, he did play against the biggest dynasty in NBA history every year in the Celtics. Talking about Elgin Baylor.
I mean,
Elgin Baylor.
Barry played against them for a few years. I mean, he didn't beat
Yeah.
them, but yeah, and Dominique never had any success in the playoffs.
Right.
You
Okay,
know.
so let's just out of curiosity. Pippen, obviously, he has 6 championships as the second best player, so not the first, but the second. He's one of the greatest defenders ever. He was a point forward in their offense at times. He was a good rebounder. Nowhere near the score of Barry, but I feel like that's a decent comparison.
Okay, so
I would-
here I actually was not prepared for this, but I have a good argument. Mike left. The team was Scotty's.
Okay.
And he had a much better supporting cast than Rick Barry because this team was loaded, and Scotty couldn't handle it. Scotty fell apart. Scotty was went nuts and literally like
He threw a fit when he didn't get the last shot of the game.
like
It's a freaking Tony Kukoc.
But he did make first team All NBA and bring him to the playoffs.
the first year. Then
But then the
second-
next
then
year,
then the
they
next year they
struggling.
were like 10 games below 500 and he couldn't handle it.
And then Michael
And
came
Mike
back.
had to come back and save their
Yeah.
season. I mean, if you're a championship team and obviously Michael left, so you're going to take a step back. I'm not saying they should have been the same exact team, but if Scotty was on that level, he probably should have carried him and done that.
I mean, I'm sure Rick Barry had a bad year. I mean, you're basing it on one bad year of Scottie Pippen.
Oh, you're right. I am just basing that part of the argument on that. But the rest of it is Scotty doesn't, just didn't add up statistically and over the course of his career. I don't have Scotty's stats sitting in front of me. I wasn't expecting to have a Scottie Pippen argument.
I'm just curious, trying to start up a conversation on why you have him as high as you do. We can talk about someone besides Scotty.
Yeah, well, see, I have Rick at 7 and Scotty at 8. And if you look at like rebounds 6'4" and 6'5", assists 5'2", 5'1", steals 2 and 2. I mean, right there they're equal. But Barry scored 7 more points a game.
Oh, I
16-1 to 23-2.
Scotty at the end of his career wasn't doing much when he played with the Blazers and stuff. So yeah, that. I mean, Barry was
They're both good. Yeah.
Barry was a better scorer in general anyway, so that's not even a conversation. But I don't know. I mean, I always thought Pippen is one of the better all-around players in the history of the NBA. But
I mean,
I was one of the best defenders in the history of the NBA.
I don't want to get too much into my Scotty argument, but I personally think Scotty is ridiculously overrated. And
Ray, what do you think?
Ooh, this is going to be a
Wrong.
fun episode when that comes up.
I mean, we don't have to give away arguments. I was
No.
just trying to
Well,
see why he is as high as you guys have him.
When I think about the two of them, and just a snap judgment, and I kind of did that a little bit on my list. I put all the numbers down, and I kind of snap judged, and then I went back and dug into it more. But I think of Rick Barry as the best player on the team, leading the team,
Okay.
and I think of Scottie Pippen as Robin.
I mean, yeah. He's the ultimate.
That's kind of the way I looked at it. I mean, don't want to take anything away from Scotty because he was an amazing defender, a great player, and Michael wouldn't have all the titles without him, I don't think.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of the way I looked at it. And again, I've only got him on the small forward list one spot different. But
Yeah.
right, I mean, we are talking about two guys we all have. Well, two guys that are in our top 50s. I shouldn't say all of us. I mean, I do believe all of us have Scotty. Nobody
I
left
think
Scotty
so,
off,
yeah, I
right?
think
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah,
got
we
Scotty.
all have him.
Yeah,
It's just
so
it's just
not
where.
like it's not like we're sitting here being like, well, one player's bad and the other player's good.
Well,
like
right.
we're arguing rankings inside the top 50.
Right,
Yeah. Well, another part of this is me and Alex were talking on the phone, I don't know, last week or something. And obviously I've stated numerous times I was going to put Rick Barry on my list. I forgot to write him down. So Alex asked me, where would you put him on your small forward list? And I wasn't sure what spot I would have put him at. I wasn't sure. So a lot of this is me prying to see your all's opinions. But
All right,
But-
sorry, go ahead.
no, I would say I'd probably, I don't know, between 6 and 9 somewhere.
So, yeah,
Somewhere in that
Yeah,
vicinity.
Falls about where
Yeah,
we're
that's
putting
where
Yeah.
we're at.
But
But kudos for admitting.
yeah.
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 Well, there's our first someone.
So let me ask you.
Oh
this.
yeah, I'll put him on my list at the end of this.
I don't want to hear
So.
names or anything like that, but has anybody else forgotten somebody and they know it already? Because I have. There's somebody that didn't make my list, and it was purely based on I forgot.
Are you gonna tell us who it is? As I know.
No, not until
No.
the episode.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen one yet. But maybe.
No, now that I know right off the top of my head, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I will have to admit, I didn't give James Harden the consideration I probably should have.
Ray's shaking his head.
I gotta say, you guys made a pretty good argument that episode, and I kind of dismissed him.
You let
He's-
your feelings
He's
get in
he's
the way.
played longer than I thought.
A lot of people don't like the way he plays, so they don't like him.
Yeah, and
I had
to
to put
put
my
so I
ego
will say
aside with James
I
Harden.
probably didn't do my due diligence on that one.
'Cause
Well, I will say, Uncle Doug, I agree. When I looked and saw how many years he played, it surprised me.
Yeah, I didn't realize he played that long.
I was like, 11 years, really?
Yeah.
I mean, Rick Barry played what?
14.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
pretty
so Hart's
close.
played almost as much.
Yeah.
It
So.
just doesn't seem like he's been around that long. But
Yeah.
It's
Ray,
yeah.
Drew, do you guys forget anybody?
Not that I can think of. I mean,
No, not without really going through names and stuff. I don't think
Yeah.
so.
that's pretty much what I'm at. I'd have to look at names and be like, oh my God, there's mine.
Yeah, there's no one that I can think of in my head like, oh my.
Oh my. Yeah.
That was just an interesting question, which leads me into my next question. What do we do with the ABA, guys? This is our first player that's really a big-time ABA player.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to re-hit this on, especially what Gervin and Dr. J.
Dr.
Yeah.
J. I'm sure we're forgetting somebody, but at least these three. Because some of these guys put up huge numbers in the ABA. They won titles in the ABA. They won awards in the ABA. All those things. Now, it would appear to me, after doing a little bit of research, that the NBA, since they merged, they did not like just buy teams or whatever. They count the ABA statistics.
Yes, I believe they did.
Otherwise, some of these guys really fall down lists.
Right. Yes.
But it does not appear they count awards.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Because when they merged, I think they went ahead and took the stats.
But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like, then why did all their stats go down when they merged?
Right.
Like, the ABA numbers are off the charts. Like, Dr. J's out there going 30, 15, and 6, and blocking 3 shots a game. Well, he never came even remotely close to that in the NBA.
Yeah.
How many
You
years
know-
did he play in the ABA before he came? I don't know. I just don't know if that because he's getting older or.
I don't remember how many years he was in the ABA.
See, I don't know that might have played part of it.
And I'm not. Don't get this twisted. I'm not making the case that these guys aren't good.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, we just said Dr. J is on my list, and I think he's on all of our lists.
Yeah.
We all
I'm
agree
pretty
on
sure.
that. But I don't think he puts up those numbers in the ABA. I mean, those numbers are stupid good.
Well, didn't we a couple weeks ago with Walt Frazier? Didn't we say that when the ABA came to him, he faded too?
He faded.
Because weren't there
yes.
players in the NBA who faded after?
Sure.
I'm sure there
You've got
was,
some
yeah.
athletic. I mean,
Well,
some
yeah.
really
The
athletic
talent
people.
pool
Yeah,
just went up.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you had all the talent come into one league.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the NBA got much tougher when they combined. I just don't think the ABA was as deep, maybe, as the NBA. Obviously, they didn't have probably as many teams. But then players, you might have had really good stars on most of the teams, but I don't know how deep the teams were. I don't remember watching a lot of that. I saw some of it. There was a franchise in St. Louis, the Spirits.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go see any games, but I mean, we at least got to see them.
Hey,
on
by the
TV.
way, we came very, very close to naming this podcast after the Spirit of St. Louis.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
But in 72-73, Dr. J in the ABA averaged 32 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. That's
Yeah.
wow.
It's crazy.
And the Pacers won the title.
The Pacers won 2 titles during the ABA. Three. Okay, my bad.
So who was the star on the Pacers?
We had McGinnis, we had Brown,
George
and we
McGinnis.
had, who was the third one? It was, let me look here. McGinnis, Alex English,
Alex
Mel
English.
Daniels, Ryder Brown, and Jordan McGinnis.
That's nuts.
That's a good
Yeah,
team.
that-
By the way, to
Yeah,
answer
cool.
your question, Drew, Dr. J's first year in the NBA, he was 26.
Oh well, yeah, that doesn't really give him much of an excuse or not.
And he put up good numbers. I'm not trying to say like he became
Right.
10-5. He was 21 and 8 and 3.
Yeah,
Still good, but not off the charts.
not 30.
I think he and McGinnis ended up together on the 76ers.
They did.
Yeah. Because when they merged, they took they've split the ABA. The NBA took the top 4 and dropped the bottom 4.
Yes, that's correct.
Because the Spirits were number 5. They just missed by one team getting into the NBA.
Yeah, they took the Pacers,
Spurs.
Nets,
and Nuggets. I
and
believe.
Nuggets.
Yeah.
Yes, and then the rest of the players became free agents, right? and they
dispersed. Yeah.
and they were able to sign with any team in the NBA.
Man, can you imagine the feeding frenzy in the NBA teams? I mean, like the 76ers grabbed Dr. J and George McGinnis.
And at that time,
You
Dr.
know.
J was considered the greatest player in the world.
Right, yeah. And McGinnis was on this 2-time championship team, and was a great player.
That's like, LeBron becoming a free agent in the middle of his
Right,
26.
yeah.
Like,
And it's just
what the hell?
It was a crazy time. I mean, it really was.
I have not read it, but on a recommendation, I am getting ready to read a book called Loose Balls.
Okay.
There you go.
It is the
Yeah.
story of the ABA.
Oh,
Yeah, that might be
okay.
an interesting. But
And
I'm
I'm getting ready to
read
read it, and I have high hopes because it came very highly recommended. Actually, though, it's old. When it was written, it was torn apart. Like, people were pissed about it because this guy, the guy that wrote it was the play-by-play guy for one of the teams. So he was actually traveling with them
Oh, so
and
he's got
staying in
all the dirt.
hotels with them and everything. And he's talking about all the shenanigans that goes on.
Oh.
Okay, so this is just an example of something he said. He challenged. I'm trying to remember who it is. It's a Hall of Famer, though. It's a Hall of Famer. He challenged him to a 3-point shooting contest. Okay, in practice, and beat him. And this Hall of Fame basketball player was so mad that he lost and was embarrassed. So he invited him to the team dinner the next day and had the team leave and stuck the guy with the bill.
Aw.
His salary was $12,000 a year. The commentator. So on his $12,000 salary, he had to pay like $1,000 food bill.
Oh man.
Damn.
Wasn't Rick Barry, was it?
No, it wasn't Rick Barry. It was a big man. And I'm trying to. It was somebody we all know. He's really good.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who it is now. And anyway, it gets into a lot of shenanigans and stuff that went on during the ABA days, and it sounds like it's gonna be really interesting. So I guess I'm kind of recommending it pre-read. But yes, I guess we never really answered the question though. What do we do with the ABA?
I mean, you don't want to discount it because there were some great players like that team that Ray described from Indiana would have done well in the NBA.
They might have won titles in the NBA.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you can't discount that.
To a certain extent, yes, people had better stats in the ABA, but the NBA was also weaker too. So it kind of messes up both leagues for a period of time. It
does. I mean, it waters. I mean, you're going to get more guys are playing basketball that probably shouldn't be playing basketball in both leagues.
But still less than there are today.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there was 12 teams in the NBA and 8 teams in the ABA.
Right, yeah.
So that's 20 teams. Now we have 30.
So
yeah.
I guess I've never watched an ABA game in my life. I have no idea. And I have no reasoning to why the stats were so ridiculous. So it's even a hard thing for me to argue for or against because I don't know why or how or what these things were doing. I know Dr. J is really good. He was never that good again. And Dr. J and George Gervin played together in the ABA. So a lot of these teams appear to have multiple Hall of Famers on the same team.
right.
I don't know. I mean, and teams were always changing and moving because they were filing for bankruptcy and
Right. Yeah. You got
folding.
shuffled around.
I mean, there's so many stories of ABA guys not getting their checks because the teams couldn't afford to pay them. They would get kicked out of hotels because the owner still hadn't paid the bill from last year. All sorts of things. The ABA was a mess.
I mean, even with the Pacers, like right after there was a point where we had to have a telethon just to keep the team going.
A telethon.
Okay,
Huh?
Yeah.
that's interesting. I hadn't heard that one. The ABA brand of basketball was pretty much wide open. They had a lot of fun.
Well, I will say this. I don't know what it means, but 2 years in a row, they had an all-star game. The NBA's All-Stars played against the ABA's All-Stars,
Oh.
and the ABA's All-Stars won both times.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I remember that because that was pretty big news at the time.
So I don't know what that means, whether the ABA was better than the NBA, whether the top-end talent in the ABA was better than the top-end talent in the NBA, whether nobody gave a shit and the game just doesn't matter like a regular All-Star game. I have no idea.
Well, wasn't it like two completely different styles of play though too? Because didn't the ABA have like a 3-point line or something?
They did have a
Yeah.
three-point line.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
They had a 3-point line. They kept track of steals and blocks. They
Right.
they were the ones that came up to keep track of turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, we touched on it in the Mikan episode.
Right. Yeah. 'cause
But
George Mikan was
Mikan
involved.
came up with all sorts of shit for this league. Mikan is the one that decided they needed to have a 3-point line.
Yeah.
He was the one that had the red, white, and blue
Red, white,
ball.
and blue ball.
Well, I mean, poor Mikan came up with the idea that made his position obsolete.
Right.
Just took a while.
Well, he was out of the game by then, so.
So anyway, Drew, Wade, anybody on that side have any feelings on what to do with the ABA?
I mean, I don't.
We just follow the NBA's rules? Like the NBA counts the stats, but not the awards? Do
I'm
we not count their stats? Because I don't know.
I honestly, I don't really have an answer. I know it's not very good for a podcast, but I just, I'm not really sure what we can do. I mean, I guess, see what they accomplished in the NBA, and then you can kind of add on to the ABA stuff. Because I mean, being successful in the ABA is still a good accomplishment. You can't just be like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. There, like Uncle Doug said, there was still a lot of the great players, in the world at that time played in the ABA. So I mean, I don't know. It means something when you're a badass in the ABA, but I mean, obviously a lot of the stats seem to be inflated, so it's tricky.
I mean, maybe we should have came to this more prepared. Maybe these stats don't even exist. Maybe we need like a pace of play. Maybe we need, things like that to look at.
Maybe we need to do some more research and then figure out when our next ABA player comes around.
We'll talk about the ABA again when George Gervin comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
maybe we need to do some little more research about why these stats are like
Does anyone
this.
have a rough estimate of how long Dr. J and George Gervin played in the NBA compared to the ABA? Like, how long were their careers in the NBA?
Dr. J played 5 years in the ABA. Barry played 4. I don't know about Gervin.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But they all had decently long careers in the NBA, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I know we got Barry's in front of us. He played like 10 years in the NBA. But, I mean, I thought Dr. J played for quite a while.
11
He did.
years in the NBA.
And then you got Gervin.
I don't think he played as long, but he played quite a few years.
Because, I mean, Gervin was like the best scorer in the NBA for a while, even when he came in the NBA.
Gervin?
So he had some dominant years. I don't
Gervin
know.
retired in what, 82?
Yeah, I don't remember for sure.
Did he stick around for a long time and play on like some like the Bulls and stuff?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, he was on the Bulls Michael's rookie season.
Oh, okay.
So he was at least around 84, 85. Yes.
I thought
Good point,
I heard that because I read something a while back about all the great players that Michael Jordan played with, and George Gervin was one of them, and it threw me for a loop. I was like, what?
I
George
did not
Gervin.
realize that.
But yeah, I know he was an old. Yeah, he sat on the bench, but
Gervin played 6 seasons in the ABA. No, it's 5. He was traded mid-season, so he played 5 seasons in the ABA, and then 10 seasons in the NBA. Sorry, NBA. So yes.
so that they at least have decent chunks of time in the NBA where we can still see how dominant they were. But again, that still kind of takes away, a lot of prime years where they could have won championships or gotten MVPs or whatever in the NBA. So I don't know. It's tricky.
So is that it? Is it just the 3 of them that we have on our list that played in the ABA?
I would guess so.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because I mean, none of us have McGinnis.
No. Or Dan Issel or
Yeah,
those
any of
guys.
those guys.
None of us.
We don't have Alex English on our list either, do we?
No, Alex English didn't make nobody's list.
Yeah, as much as I wanted to put together a top 50 Pacers of all time, I just don't know enough about the big NBA or the ABA players to even throw them on, a great NBA players list at that anyway.
I know we've talked about him quite a few times, but no one put Artis Gilmore on, right?
No.
I know he got brought up numerous times. But
Yeah, I think that's really the big ones.
All right. Well, shall we give our closing statements then? Unless anybody else has something else to bring up.
let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Uncle Doug, would you like to give your closing statement?
Sure. I definitely felt like Rick Barry needed to be here. He had significant accomplishments both places. His numbers, all-time numbers, average, and all-time were way up the list. He's the best player on a championship team. And you do have to take into account some of the crappy things he did, but still, when it came to playing basketball, he was there.
Yeah, it was all that. He was best player on a championship team. He did do some pretty crappy things, but he accomplished, I think, a lot more than just being a big douchebag to people. So he deserves to be on my list and everyone's list.
Well, I know I said this last episode, but Rick Barry was another one of those guys that surprised me a little bit when they didn't make everybody's list. And I think I told Uncle Doug this the other day. I thought this was the easiest argument I've made so far. Just based on a couple of things. Like I said, he was the best player on a championship team. He has accolades outside of it, the All-Stars, the All-NBAs. His per-game stats are really high, and his career stats are really high. I mean, he's 15th all-time in points per game and 5th among small forwards. He's also 133rd all-time in assists as a forward, 4th among small forwards. So, I mean, stuff like that really stood out to me. And and you add on a couple other little things like the all-time finals scoring leader and stuff like that. I just thought Rick was a clear list guy for me, and I hope I changed your minds. Ray, what you got, buddy?
I mean, yeah, I know Rick Barry. I guess I just haven't seen enough of him to, I guess, make a clear conclusion. But once again, you've educated the tech guy. Maybe I have to look at my list and maybe switch some things around. I'm not saying you changed my mind or anything. I'm just saying it's a strong possibility. I mean, he's got great stats. I don't know anything about his personal life, so I'm just going straight from basketball. He had a great career. So maybe you changed my mind. Maybe you haven't. I won't let you know. It's going to be my own personal secret.
Willard?
All right. Well, I also believe it should be on everybody's list. But, shit happens. Sometimes you forget to write them down. I haven't researched them and just forgot to write them down. But, yeah, he'll probably make my list at the end. I'll just leave it at that.
Does he get bonus points for having 2 kids make the league?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, good genetics,
I mean, and one of those kids won a dunk contest.
That's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Okay. I think we're overstating that one.
He did. He won the dunk contest. Brett Barry won the dunk contest.
Okay. Well,
Jumping
he's
from the free throw line.
big whoop. I mean, Blake Griffin jumped over a car, guys.
He did. He jumped
The
over
hood.
that car.
The hood of the car.
Hey, man. What Brett Barry did was more impressive than what Blake Griffin did.
Yeah.
Blake
Yeah.
Griffin's dunking
mean-
again. He's coming back.
Nate Robinson's won 3.
Yeah.
I'm not
Ugh.
saying I was just saying I was just trying to be funny. I wasn't trying to make a case for the dunk contest. We've had many of those conversations over the last few episodes.
We agree that he's better than Blake Griffin over the car. We'll give you that one.
I've got my trivia question ready if we're ready to go there.
All right, let's move on to trivia, guys. I gotta grab my board.
All right. Who is the first player to score at least 20 points? Oh, wait, let me rephrase this question. Who's the first player to score at least 20 points in 50 straight playoff games?
The first player to do
Yeah,
it?
first player.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Who is the first player to score at least 20 points in 50 straight playoff games?
I find myself guessing more than I like.
Yeah, I'll go guess.
Okay.
Willard, you got yours?
Sorry, changed my mind. Hang on. All right, I'm good.
All right. I got Jerry West.
I said Wilt. Wilt, sorry.
I said Wilt.
I said Jordan.
Kareem.
Ooh.
He
Happened
was one of the
later
people I
than I
thought
thought.
about.
Yeah.
I actually put down Jerry West first. And then I went to Chamberlain.
Honestly, when you said Wilt, I went, oh, shit. So, like, I'm glad it wasn't. Anybody ready for the next one?
I got an interesting one. Just a random fact about an NBA player here. What country was Steve Nash born in?
Mexico. Sorry, I was just being stupid.
I got it. I'm feeling pretty confident about it, too, I think.
I'm not confident, but I have an answer.
I have an
There you go.
answer, yes. I'll go that far.
I feel pretty confident. I'm going to feel dumb if I don't get as bragging about
If you
it.
get it, that's impressive.
You got
To know where
something,
someone was
I
born.
got mine. Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Ready?
Let's go.
I put Canada.
Yeah, me too. Canada.
Oh, Canada.
It's South Africa.
Oh,
Let's go.
Go Drew.
South
What's the story
Africa.
behind that?
No, I just looked up trivia questions, and that was one of them.
I mean, he's a Canadian citizen. I know that. That's why.
Damn it.
When he said where was he born, I assumed it wasn't Canada because he asked it, and we all know he plays on the Canadian Olympic team and all that stuff. But I didn't know the answer, so.
Where do you learn that, Drew?
I saw it somewhere at some point. I just
TikTok?
Probably TikTok.
No, it actually wasn't TikTok. It was before. I'm like, Steve Nash was born in South Africa? I might need that.
Damn.
All right.
Uncle Doug, you ready?
Yeah, I can go. All right, we'll go back to Rick Barry. He actually led the ABA in free throw percentage all time at 87.98. He is sixth in NBA history at 89.31. Who is number one all time in free throw shooting in NBA history at 90.72?
I got mine.
I got mine. And I know who, like, top 5 guys are, but I'm not 100% sure on the order, so we'll see.
Yeah, I know a few of the players, but I'm not sure who's number one.
Yeah.
I think I've heard this before, though.
I'm not sure. I'm debating.
Everybody got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Ray Allen.
I put Steve Nash.
I also put Steve Nash.
Put Reggie.
Steph Curry.
Oh, you got to be shitting me.
See,
I knew that would get a
I
response.
thought another person. I thought maybe Chris Paul.
Is Steve Nash close?
I think he was up there. I don't remember for
Okay,
sure
I
now.
could have sworn he
It
was
just
right up.
just caught my eye when Steph was number one. I thought, oh, I got to ask him that.
There.
Get him, everybody stirred up.
Ray, you ready?
Okay. The club, currently known as the Washington Wizards, has previously been known as all of the following except
Okay.
Chicago Packers, Chicago Zephyrs, Baltimore Bullets, Washington Senators. All of them except
Can you name the first two again, please?
Chicago Packers, Chicago Zephyrs, Baltimore Bullets, Washington Senators.
Yeah, I got one.
Do you get a bonus point if you spell Zephyrs right?
I don't know what the rules of trivia are.
I was just kidding.
All right. I got one.
I got one.
Yeah.
All ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put Senators.
I put Senators.
But the Packers.
Put the Bullets.
Correct answer is Washington Senators.
Yeah.
And they were the Bullets
Yep.
in my lifetime.
Yes, they were the.
See, I thought
Bullets
they
for
were the
sure.
Washington Bullets, not Baltimore
Well,
Bullets.
both.
No. Okay, that's why I put that.
But that's
So
Bullets is not politically correct. So.
yes, because they were the like crime capital of the United States
Yeah.
for a couple of years, so they took the name off. Is it just me and you, Uncle Doug? You got that? Wade, you didn't get it?
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
All right, so that leaves just me, right? Oh, shit. Drop my pen. All right, here's my question. What player holds the NBA postseason single series record for most points per game?
Oh my gosh. Most points per game.
If they average the most points per game in a single series in NBA history.
Can you tell us how much it was?
46.3.
Ooh.
It's a lot of points.
I got two players in my head. I just don't know which way to go.
Everybody?
No.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I got one.
Yeah. There's like one in my head that I think it's obvious, and another one.
Right.
I'm
going
like-
with the unobvious.
Me too.
Okay.
Go on a limb here.
Ray, you got one?
Yep.
So that's everybody? Let's see them.
Kobe.
Put Elgin Baylor.
Rick Barry.
Wilt Chamberlain.
The correct answer is Jerry West.
Damn.
Oh,
I should have known that.
See, I thought about it.
All right. So, after this week's points were added, the trivia score is as follows. Ray with 13, Alex with 26, Doug with 27, Drew with 29, and Wade with 33. So, Wade does not extend his lead this week, but actually he lost a point to Drew this week. But he still got a 4-point lead. But numbers are climbing, gentlemen. There for a while, we would go whole episodes where like 1 point would be given out. You know, multiple people have gotten multiple points in the last couple of weeks, so we're doing better. Well, thank you for joining us for our Rick Barry episode. Please join us next week for our episode on Paul Pierce, who will be defended by myself, Ray, and Wade because he's a Celtic, and that's how this shit goes. But we appreciate your listen, and please tune in again to Sports the NEMO Way.